Hi, welcome to the Retirement Railroad Mat Day Modeling Tip of the Day. I'm Steve, and today we want to start on part 15 of building Aurora. So, with that, let's take a walk on over to Aurora and see what we're going to do. Alright, so here we are back in Aurora, and you'll notice everything's cleared off. Alright, that's because to install the Motorman, we're going to have to do some additional wiring. The top section that fits on there is all wired up and ready to go. All we have to do is the connection between it and the Motorman. The first thing we got to do is take this backdrop off. Okay? And this was made to simply pull out and lift out. So, okay. This is all designed where it simply lifts up. Got a brace right here. To put into place. Right there. Alright, so now it's locked in place, and we have access to the wiring. Alright, I always forget to turn the camera on. I've already gone ahead and drilled some pilot holes here where the plate for the Motorman control unit will be. And I had to push it off to this side so that the swing bridge didn't get hung up on the knob. So the next thing is to cut that out. There. That's how it will sit after I get everything installed on it. So stay tuned. Alright, so as long as we've got the lid lifted and we can do some wiring, I'm adding in some lighting on the platform for the Aurora station. And to do that, I've got this piece of masonite, and I've got a bus line attached. I've got resistors already pre-soldered onto the bus line, and lead to connect up, and some DAP, latex caulk, and 3 screws. So I'm going to head on over there and put it on. Alright, so all I need now is a screwdriver, which I had a minute ago. There it is. Alright, so the bus line is installed. Stay tuned. So, last night I was laying in bed, and a thought occurred to me. Those lamp lights for the Aurora station platform that I installed the bus line for, it's going to require me to solder from underneath the way it is. And that is not my idea of a good time. Especially with the fine wires on those lamps. So I came up with another idea. So let's go over to the bench, or Aurora, not the bench, and take a look at what I'm going to do. Stay tuned. Alright, so what I did, last night I had mounted these lights, 4 lights in place, and ran the wires through, which came through the bus line, which was mounted underneath, Went ahead and popped all these off. I undid the leads to the power, to the lighting power, and unscrewed the bus line panel and pulled it off. And I had already learned my lesson from Aurora. I went ahead and pre-soldered my resistors in place. All right. So the next step is to drill out the 4 holes here so that I can solder and mount these onto that bus line strip and feed them up from underneath. Okay. That way I'm not trying to solder underneath there and it just would be a mess. So with that, we're going to go ahead and drill these out. It's a 1-inch bit. I've cut away some of the cork road bed on each side so I don't get hung up in that bed and tear it to pieces. So now there's adequate clearance, and the holes that were already there for the wiring act as a good pilot. So the next step, before we clean up here, is need a couple holes. One over here, one over there to run the sensor leads or wiring, and to run the track power wiring. Okay. So with that, let's go ahead and drill a couple holes. It's a matter of vacuuming up and doing some wiring. Alexa, lights off.
Okay.
Alexa, lights on.
Okay.
All right, so all the wiring is now run, and I have the Motorman powered up. What you're looking at here, this faceplate here is on hinges. And simply does that. As you can see, Motorman is powered up. We'll switch camera angles, give you a view of the back side of the Motorman. There you go there. As you can see, it's all lit up, powered up. That just means the wiring is run. All right, now I've got wire ties set here to clamp it all up some, clean it up. Let's lower the lid. Well, let's go ahead and clamp these up. What I did was I added this dowel rod, and I just drilled a hole into the front fascia right here. Same size as the dowel rod, so the dowel rod would slide in there. Then on the back side, I just put a clamp across the end to fix it. Okay, that gave me a good support for the wiring. All right. God knows I got enough wiring run everywhere anyway. Clean this up. Okay. That does that. And you should be able to see the Motorman lit up over here. Right now I have it. I got the optional extra switch faceplate so it has a simple switch so I can run from normal to Motorman. In other words, I can run from DC. I'm going to hook it. It's hooked up to DCC. I could add another toggle switch in that I can switch back and forth between DC and DCC, but I'm not going to do that. The trolley line over in Chicago will have that feature. So anyway, don't need it over here. So we got all this down, as you can see. Here's the sensor wiring here, and back here. Track wiring is sitting right over here behind the fascia or an RCA plug, so that works well. With that, we're ready to start reassembling. Let's get the backdrop reinstalled, and we'll go from there. Alright, so we got the backdrop installed. Now it's time to go out to the garage and get the base for Aurora. Stay tuned. Alright, so we got the backdrop installed. And we have the Aurora Street installed. Now it's time next to install our sensors here and here. Now we already have track power ready to go. It looks like we plug that in right now. Once we have the track power plugged in, that. Now we should be able to run GCC under the normal setting on the Motorman, and be all ready to go. Alright, so while I don't have the sensors in, I did want to check, make sure I have DCC power through the Motorman up to the locomotive. So I programmed in the locomotive, make it go forward, and it goes forward. Back. Oh no, I'm gonna go off the edge. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I did put in a Lexan plexiglass barrier here so I can't run off the end. That side eventually will not be a problem because there's a seam break bridge here. The track will just go around the edge of this building, fade off in the sunset, and it's not going to be powered. So that's all good. The only thing left to do is install the sensors. But as of now, as long as the sensors work, everything else is up to snuff. And yes, the street lights work and the building lights work. Just gotta get those sensors in. With the sensors installed and some quick and easy programming, very good instructions by the way, and turned over onto the Motorman position. Now you can pre-program 14 DCC addresses and 1 DC address into the Motorman. You can vary the length of delay at each end. And if you want, you can add intermediate sensors so that it runs and hits that sensor and stops for a given amount of time. Again, the delay times are all variable. tickled to death. It's about time to put the buildings back on the layout. So that wraps it up for part 15 of building Aurora, the installation of the Motorman. Fairly straightforward. I won't say easy. Well, yeah, it was easy, just a little time consuming. And again, I had other aspects going on at the same time. But I mean, it works great. It does everything I expected it to, and actually does a lot more. So, with that, I want to thank you for joining me here at the Retirement Railroad Matinee Modeling Tip of the Day. I'm Steve, and y'all have a great day. Bye now.